Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans. It's a decent ball in, half-headed away, and a decent strike!
We're all on stage. That wasn't meant to happen, but it's happened. Well, good evening, everyone. This is Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Claudio, and I'm hosting tonight because Miles is off doing a bit of DJing. I think he's doing a bit of karaoke tonight. Ken is working, and Victoria should be here soon. But nevertheless, I've got some great company tonight. I've got Joe Chamberlain. How are you, Joe?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not too bad considering, well, it's been a bit of a mad week and even mad for you, obviously.
Yeah.
Jack, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Still recovering from the weekend and last night as well. Not that I ran a marathon. I just pints. But no, all good, thanks, yeah.
It felt like it, I suppose, the last few days. We've got a few bits and bobs I want to get through before we start. So I think the term is housekeeping. Is what we call it. We've got the George and John, of course. I'll get it up in a second. Yes, the George and John statue appeal. It's still ongoing, and we could still do with some more cash coming in. I basically, I was trying to get the photo up, but I can't find it. I'll get it in a minute. Bear with. Ah, there we go. There we are, the statue appeal. Donate now. There's the details of the George Curtis Johnson statue. Also, we have the end of season night at the White Horse in Leamington Spa, Thursday, 2nd of May. That's the week. It's a week tonight, isn't it? The season's almost over, isn't it? That's 7 till 11, and it's not tickets. It's just basically turn up and we'll have a bit of a laugh. And hopefully Miles might get his DJ stuff there. Maybe even a bit of karaoke. Maybe I'm pushing it with that. This I want to put up because it just looks great, doesn't it? Look at that. That needs to be on the white bit of the CBS, isn't it? Where all the boxes are. I think, or somebody just do the mural, just do a painting or something. Yeah. We also have got Spot the Ball, which I'll put up in a moment. This as well. This is me. Out now, episode 2, Sky Blue History Podcast with myself and Jim Brown. Jim Brown's a man with the knowledge. I sort of hang on his coattails and chip in with a little bit here and there. Then he tells me I'm wrong. That's the way it is. That's how you learn. This episode 2, we spoke a bit about Wembley and also own goals and hat tricks. And somehow the conversation goes off and we talk about all sorts of things. Now, going back to Wembley, obviously we had a bit of a weekend, didn't we? And Joe, I'll come to you in a second. How was your day? I'll get you on the screen in a second.
Oh, you don't have to.
It's all right. I don't have to. So you did. We'll have a quick chat about your day. Obviously, you did the marathon. How was it?
Yeah, it was a long day. Obviously, got up, got to the start point, gathered round, managed to sneak my way into an earlier pen so I could make sure I got off before 10 past 10. I got running at 5 past 10, so I was chuffed with that to get off. My injury started to play up from mile 5, so I was like, oh God, this is too early. So I just reined it in a bit, dragged it out as long as I could, and then stopped at about 17 just to stretch, and then I stopped about every 2 miles, about 1.8 miles, something like that, until the end then. So I only stopped about 4 times, which was better than expected. Finished in 3:47, having lost 5 minutes. I was really pleased with that, and finished about, I remember the time because I remember looking at my watch, finished at 1:53. So I was like, yes, it's well. I had minutes to spare as such, and then made my way to get the medal. Then you have to get your little bag from the lorry, and then basically just pretty much barge my way to Charing Cross Station. And the the tubes went so much better than expected, actually. I thought it was going to be a bit of a nightmare, but it really wasn't. It went perfect. Bumped into some Cod fans on the second train. So obviously I just clung to them like anything. And then, made it to Wembley Park at about 10 to 3. Perfect, really. So I got to walk down Wembley Way, took the mick out some Man United fans on route standard. And then, got to the stadium. I got collared by Midlands today as I was going in, and I was shivering, and I just wanted to get my coat on and stuff. But then got in the ground. I think I was finally in the stadium about 10 past 3. So plenty of time.
So did you? Were you quite comfortable in the run itself then?
Yeah, I was. Apart from like my injury and having to stretch, I felt all right. I wanted to go faster, but the problem is when you go faster, it's like an electric shock in my leg, and it just plays up more. So the last obviously 4 or 5 miles, they were hard, as they are, heavy, tired legs. But that's what the crowd's there for. They get you through that. So saw a few Cod fans en route, saw some bucket hats. There was another Cod fan that passed me on the way. He's a seriously fast runner, so told him to just run on. It was a good day. The weather was all right, a bit windy, but it was just a relief to obviously cross the line and think, right, that's sort of miracle number 1, to quote Top Gun, and I needed miracle number 2 then, and it was to get to Wembley. So I
did notice when we left the ground, it was quite chilly actually. I was surprised. I didn't realise how windy it was. Jack, when Joe entered the stadium, you were on about your 10th pint, probably?
Wasn't that many. I only had 3 at Mark's pub, and I had 1 in the ground and a glass of white wine that a friend wouldn't drink because they didn't like the taste of it, so I had that.
A glass of white wine on match day?
I didn't buy it, I just drunk it.
Now, Jack, obviously you're involved with the Leamington and Warwick Coventry City supporters group, as myself. I believe we have got spaces on the coach, is that right?
Yes, I think we've got about 10. Don't hold me on that. I don't know the exact numbers, but there's definitely space for Blackburn. So if there's anyone that wants to travel, we pick up in Leamington Station and the Nelson Club in Warwick. So if there's anyone that wants a coach trip, we do. It's about 30 quid, I think it is, to travel. We go to a pub that's about a half an hour trip away from the ground. We spend 2 hours at a pub. Nice meal, couple of pints. You can go as hard as you want drinking in 2 hours. It's up to you. And then we get to the ground. We aim to get there about 2 o'clock. So that's our day, and then straight home afterwards.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's 8:15. I'm getting picked up again.
Yeah, it's an early one, but
I know. It's a fact. I've got to go and fetch my son who's in Covington first. So Anyway, so. Obviously, I'll tell you what, we'll do spot the ball. Although I'll give it another 10 minutes till Vicky comes on. I hope she can help me write the numbers down, because that will help. So let's talk about last night. Now, I think everybody, I got a message from Jack saying there's going to be possibly 5 or 6 changes. And he was obviously correct, but then I think we all thought that anyway. And I kind of imagined there was going to be everybody who came on during the game would start, which is pretty much what happened. But I didn't expect to see no O'Hare and Torp and completely out of the squad. So what did you make of the defence to start with, Joe? We had Latty, Thomas, Binks and Bidwell. Were you happy with that? Did that seem was that expected?
Normally on paper you think, they'll be all right. But there was a few calamity mistakes last night, wasn't there? And it's really hard to still be mad at them at the minute, isn't it, as well? It's like I wasn't surprised that it was going to be a bit of a strange team selection at the start of the night, and some of them did need that bit more of a rest and stuff, and then second half they came on and we just looked a different team. We looked like typical Coventry, didn't we, when they came on?
Well, we did. I was pleased to see Binks start, because I thought Binks was tremendous when he came on at Wembley. He sort of glide. I mean, even last night I thought he was gliding across the pitch, really steady on the ball. I thought it was solid. And I must admit, I thought Bidders looked a bit heavy. He was struggling. Latty for me, looks like
Yeah.
he's got a mistake in him, hasn't he? I mean, and is that down to tiredness? Is it down to too many games? They talk about it a lot. I don't know what you think, Jack, because the goal at Wembley where it sort of went back to Fernandes was very similar to what happened to him at Molineux, didn't it? And even last night with a penalty, which, well, it's just a bit of, I don't know what was going on there. I said to Joe earlier before we came on air, I think he was basically trying to get the game stopped and went in with a rash challenge because he saw Thomas on the ground and ended up giving a penalty. Because I mean, I admittedly thought the ref blew to just stop the game then. And then thought, oh, it's great, he's given a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought, Jack.
I think the penalty was a correct decision from the ref. In all honesty, it was very close to the edge of the box. Maybe the initial contact was outside the box, but there was definitely contact inside the box for certain. So yeah, I think Lati. I don't want to say he's out of his depth because he's shown at times he's a very good player for us, but as of late, he seems just. I don't know if it's fatigue or what it is, and Kitching as well. They're not seeming at their best at the moment, and maybe that's part of the reason we're conceding so many goals.
But with obviously the first goal, which was, it was a shocker, wasn't it? I mean, only moments before, Collins had fluffed another shot where he went just for a corner, which I don't know. I mean, it's obviously there must be a lack of confidence, but then he pulls off a brilliant save moments later after he let the goal in. But we definitely need something else, I think. It's just not... I don't think anybody's 100% sure about our keepers.
No.
What do you think, Joe?
No, I'm not. I'm slowly losing a lot of confidence in Collins, to be honest. But then you've got people saying put Wilson on Saturday, and I'm just like, oh no, you're just replacing one with another. You know, it's like... But sadly, what can you do? You can't just put him on just to be sentimental because of the goal he scored last year, can you? But at the same point, we are hemorrhaging stupid goals at the moment, and we need another goalie, don't we? It's quite simple. We do need someone in the summer, but the question is who. And
I mean, last season we didn't let many goals in because the system we played, and Doyle and Fads in the middle and McNally, they were just more of a solid unit, weren't they? Playing that system with three at the back, and we do look fragile at times. And I don't. I mean, last night. I mean, I'm looking at our midfield now. We had Eccles, Kelly, Sheaf, and De Silva. I mean, I thought De Silva played quite well yesterday, but there wasn't much creativity at all in that midfield, was there, Jack?
No, not at all. It seemed like a flat four across midfield with Eccles playing right, which I think when he's played right wing back, he's shown signs of being decent there, but it's not his preferred position, clearly. And again, De Silva, he might be more of a left wing back than a left back, and he's okay going forward, but he's not the answer, I don't think. He was better when Hadji came on and he moved back to left back, and we went at them because he's good going forward, but he's not the left winger. He's the left back that plays with a left winger. So I feel like next season with him and Efron maybe on the left, he could be more effective when he's got an out-and-out winger in front of him.
I thought Ben Sheaf was just, with about 20 minutes to go, he looked like he was dragging around lead weights, didn't he? Poor bloke. Yeah. He looked absolutely shattered. It was quite desperate. And of course, I mean, obviously the first goal was a mistake by the keeper, soft shot. And then we managed to get an equaliser, which was stunning from a player who I'm so frustrated with. 1 minute he's doing some sublime stuff, and the next minute he just, he'll get past a couple of players and just give the ball away, and then throws his arms around in the air. And so frustrating because he hadn't played at Wembley, and you think you're just hoping he would drive the team forward. I don't think he did at all last night, Joe. What did you think?
I think when the thing is with him is when he has too many, it's too many touches, isn't it? But when he's not thinking about it, he just does his quick passes. He's outstanding, and he does some sublime pieces of work. But then sometimes it's like he's looking for that perfect ball every time, and it's like just sometimes he needs to realise that he just needs to be part of a perfect group of balls and not just be the main guy, And I love him. I think he's great. I mean, that free kick was outstanding, but he's frustrating at times because you can see how bloody good he can be, and then he lets it down with some just not thinking.
Well, a couple of times last night, the referee was weird. I thought he was poor anyway, but he let a lot go, didn't he? And I thought it's no good hitting the deck because he's not blowing for anything. I mean, there's a couple of times we wrestled their players to the floor and he gave nothing.
Yeah.
So, and of course, he gets somebody who's waving his arms around. I think just get on with it. You know, we need you playing. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, the ref was, he let a lot go, like you say, but I feel like he was quite consistent with it. I don't think the ref was as bad as other people were making out. That's just my opinion. I don't think he did anything wrong, per se. And people were saying, could he have stopped for the Bobby Thomas head injury thing? Bobby sort of stopped, grabbed his head, ran another 10 yards, and then sat down. So I think from what the ref saw of him, he carried on, and then so the ref didn't feel like he needed to stop. But yeah, he wasn't, he was just different kind of ref, letting a lot go. So
I think I've got his goal here, actually, Casey's goal, I hope. Isn't it a shame the cameras aren't facing that way? It absolutely bugs me that they're on our side of the ground, and you always just see the corporate bit virtually empty last night. That was disappointing. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do because I can't see them filling the spaces next. I don't think they'll get any more in the corporate with the prices that they are.
No. It seems a waste though, doesn't it? Just reduce them a little bit and you'll get more people in. I get it from a business point of view, but if they're empty, you're not making any money anyway. You're better making something than nothing, can't you? So
exactly. I mean, so going back to the game, of course, they take the lead just before half time. So frustrating because I felt like we worked really hard to get back into the game and then to give such a soft goal. And then we had the second half. I put in the, I think it was on Facebook, please put on Sims and we need to put the big guns, is what I said, because I felt Matty is just out of it now. I just feel he's not had enough games. He's so far off the pace. That's not his fault. He can't get in the team.
No.
He was there at the start of the season, wasn't he? He scored about, 9 goals at the start of the season, Jack, something like that, wasn't it? Sims was still trying to find his feet. He definitely has now. And when those two lads come on, I never thought that I would be saying towards the end of the season how much they make a difference when they're on the pitch.
Yeah.
Because we look totally different, and the team just looked different. Is that how you saw it, Joe?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think they just bring that. It's that pace, isn't it, as well? And then I think they bring out the best in others. I mean, we can't not mention MVE as well, because the pace on that guy, it stands out a mile, doesn't it? When he's running down the wing, and he works so well with them, and they're special. Now their bromance is going well. They do bring a lot to our game, and it's so exciting, isn't it, to have two forwards that have got that relationship. We haven't had that for years, have we? It's normally been like one goal scorer up front, and it's been it's like a selfish position in a way. But then these two clearly want the best for each other as well, and they are. I love them, and I think next season with some additions, I think they're going to be outstanding. I really do.
I mean, obviously, Jack, I think you've done every game bar one, I think, haven't you, this season as well?
I was in Canada for 3 weeks, so missed 4 games in September.
Get out now.
Sorry.
But you've probably noticed the difference, haven't you, especially the coach traveling with the same guys and ladies on the coach, how from the start of the season all the grumbling probably about Wright and Sims to what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, they were 2 players. What a waste of 15 million combined, or however much we've spent, 10, 12. So there were a lot of complaints, but I know Wright got a couple of early goals, but he's really come onto it. Obviously picked up the injury, which slowed him down, and has just got right back on it. Sims, clearly a confidence player. I think everyone saw that and said that at the beginning, but we were the masters of our own downfall. We weren't giving him the service to get the goals. Now he's scored a few goals sort of around Christmas, January. His confidence got up, and now he's a world beater. He's taking players on. He's running at them. He's beating them for pace. He's running 10 yards further than everyone else. He's a different man, and it's brilliant. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because people reflect on our season will say the reason we're not going to probably make the playoffs. It'd be an absolute miracle if we do now. We know that. There's going to be some real turnaround of results and form to get us in the playoffs because we've lost 3 league games in a row now. But it's the first, we're only winning 3 games in the first 16 is the reason we're not in the playoffs. It's nothing to do with the cup run, to be honest, because there was performances around the cup run in the league. So I'm hoping, in some ways, we don't make the playoffs because I don't think it seems to like stretch the team even more, risk people missing out on pre-season because of muscle pulls and injuries or whatever. That we can be 3 weeks ahead of where we were last season and actually get a squad together sooner.
We're not ready.
No.
But we're almost ready. And I genuinely believe we're going to be ready come the summer. And sod the playoffs. I want automatics. I want us to win that league with confidence, or at least second I'd take. Do you know what I mean? But playoffs, it's just like it's a great experience. Certainly when you get to the final and stuff. Not so much when you don't win the final, but come on. I think we're capable of that. I really do.
That sounds like an aeroplane flying then.
Sorry, I think it's me. I'm trying to sort my microphone out. I don't think it's great.
I thought you'd taken off.
Sorry.
We have Vicky in the background. Hey, I've joined with one of our I'll get her on now. Victoria, where you been? Where you been?
Nightmare tonight.
Now, I hope you got a pen and paper there.
Yeah.
We're going to do spot the ball in a second. We'll get it up now, actually. So,
okay, cool.
And we'll get some comments in as well. They're building up, so I better get them in. Right then, we have spot the ball. I've got to be careful here in case I hit on the answer and not the actual spot the ball. And we should have a Blackburn fan, Harry, coming on.
Just to say, I totally agree with Joe. Joe, I totally agree with you. It's automatics all the way.
Yeah, let's experience it. Our fans deserve it, didn't we? I know we had it during COVID, but we didn't get to really celebrate and stuff, did we? It was taken away from us, and I want to experience that in my lifetime. And I think we're in a position where we're almost there to do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going in the right direction. Definitely. So, spot the ball. Here we go. Right. It's at Wembley, the game we won 4-3. And I can tell you there's only one ball. So, Joe, where do you reckon?
Only because it's my lucky number. I don't think it's right, but I've got to go with number 8.
Number 8. Vicky?
I've got the wrong glasses on. I can't see the numbers very well.
They must be the ones the bloke the VAR was wearing on Sunday.
I'm going to say number 11.
Jack, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go with 17.
17?
Yeah.
Right.
Right, I've got those.
So get your guesses in. Vicky will write them down. And I think we'll go to some comments. Right, then. Here we go. Bear with. Right, we've got an evening all from Dave Saunders. Evening, Dave. That's Jack's dad. Just checking up, making sure you're not swearing or anything.
Keeps texting.
Becky.
My microphone's awful.
Yeah, it's you're buzzing now. What's going on?
I'll have a little play. I'll sort it out.
Evening from Paul Hughes and Alison Berry and Janet as well. Even to all of you and Nation Radio. Evening. And Christopher Baker. Evening all. I've got another one from Gower. It's Jamie. That is Jamie. I'm getting to know people's names now because they're all just the little whatever you call these names. Little, I don't know what are they called?
Handles, and they.
I was going to say handle, yeah, but I thought I didn't want to sound like I was a CB fan or something. This is from Chris Baker. Well done on completing your marathon run,
thank
Joe.
you.
That's Ian Small. Disappointed by errors last night, but nothing compared to flight cancelled by ATC in France. Can't get home until Sunday. Very expensive week.
Oh no.
Oh dear. I wonder if you can get a ticket for Blackburn. That's a shocker. That is terrible. That's a congrats, Joe, from Lee Beckett.
Thank
you. It's Glenn Watkin in Small. Oh no, that's not good. The bloody French. Ever since they got rid of the guillotine, that is Glenn, mate. Glenn Watkin, Hull weren't anything special. Not happy with their overzealous celebrations for second and third goals in front of the Cough fans. Plus their game, man. Ship over their game, was that? Yeah. Ship over injuries when they were tackled, yes. So what were your thoughts on the whole joke? I know you were saying you weren't very pleased about that.
It wound me up. They did, if the fans were at the other end, you kind of think, well, okay, they've got to celebrate somewhere rather than running the other end of the pitch. But their fans were next to them, and they purposely chose to come up to our corner. They're idiots, and then they were falling over a lot as well. I thought they were quite dirty tactics, to be honest, and yeah, I didn't like them. They weren't sportsmanly, and I was effing and blinding at them, to be honest. When they came over, because they were. I just didn't like it at all. I just don't get it. I don't get what's wrong with people nowadays. It's this smug approach, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Well, celebrate with your own fans.
My son said we were watching, obviously at Wembley, watching Man United, and then Carvalho last night. He says, "Oh, we want to go to the Premier League, but this is what you're going to have to put up with, players like that." He said, "I'm not sure I want to see it every week." I thought, that's the trouble, isn't it? Carvalho, I just thought, oh, well, yeah, not happy at all with it. What do you think, Vicky? Were you getting annoyed? I can imagine you getting annoyed in the stand.
Yeah, although obviously I don't sit in there, so it wasn't right in front of me to get really annoyed. But I thought the same as Joe. I thought, what are you doing running over there like idiots? Your fans are there. Just run to them. And
what was this thing he was doing? What was all that about?
It's just taking a mick, wasn't he?
I don't. Yeah, it's just.
They got some very unsavoury messages from Singer's Corner when they ran over.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because they were good.
By the way, sorry.
I mean, Hull have spent. I think Hull are losing £400,000 a week. I'm sure that's what I was told. They took a massive gamble in January. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I hope they don't. I hope this gamble.
Hope they don't after that. Yeah, hope they don't after that.
I'd sooner have it as it is, to be honest, unless we're in there.
Yeah.
But I'd hate to think they could get into the playoffs and then get promoted, because they were just, I thought it was terrible.
I don't think even if they make it by some fluke that they'll get promoted. It'll be one of the Leeds or one of those teams that doesn't make the top two. I reckon that they'll all go, which will be better for us for next season. I mean, that's what we want, really. Leeds, Leicester, I don't really want them to go up because I don't really like either of them, but that's what we want. We want them to go so that we haven't got to deal with them next season, and it makes the league better for us.
I mean, we could do losing, Leeds, Leicester, even Southampton, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry for
I want Norwich to go. We can't beat Norwich, can we? I want them gone.
Can Swansea and Preston go as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody Welsh, Cardiff, they can go as well.
Yeah.
But Hull, you're right. Hull have took a massive gamble, which probably isn't going to play off, and they're going to be in the right state next season. And like one of their fans was saying I was reading a thing on Twitter earlier, and they were like, "Oh well, Cavalier was worth a gamble." I'm like, "Well, I don't think he really was, because playoffs were never a certainty. Like, why would you? Like, it's just crazy." But
so we got Trevor Merriman telling Ian Small to come to Blackburn. Martin Cadden, even Martin. Adam Shaw. Is it just who's not? Is it just? I think it's trying to say, is it just me who's not interested in watching the FA Cup final season? I'm still not over the decision yet. They drew the line on Wan-Bissaka's boots. I'm trying to get it out of my mind now, Adam. I really am, because every time you put on some sort of social media, it keeps popping up, and it has annoyed me now. On Monday, I was still a bit euphoric because I thought we were fantastic and we were brilliant, and the world loves Coventry City. Even Leicester fans were giving us praise, and Sunderland fans, it was ridiculous. By Tuesday, I was a bit peed off, actually. It got to me by Tuesday. After the Wolves game, my production at work, I reckon, skyrocketed for about a week. The last 3 days, I may as well just stayed at home, to be honest. It's a good job I'm the works manager. Keep delegating everything. Delegate, get on with it. I'm too busy sulking. It's such a, it's annoying. It's annoying. And there's nothing you can do about it. And the guys made mistakes already. Who's in charge of the VAR? And it's just unbelievable. I keep giving him the job. Unbelievable.
He's in Lancashire, isn't he? Apparently.
Yeah. It's all a bit.
We had to hunt him down on Saturday, didn't we? That's
Yeah.
what we need to do.
There's Tony from Nation Radio. Collins is costing us too many goals. I mean, looking at that second half, like you said, we came out, we were buzzing. The fact the two lads came on up front gave the crowd a lift, I think. Although I have to say, I thought the noise was pretty good yesterday. The first 20, 25 minutes, it was excellent. It's the loudest Singers' Corner has been for a while. And it sort of resonated around the ground. I thought it was pretty good. But it definitely gave us a lift. And it just seemed, we seemed quicker. I mean, even Josh was getting further forward. What do you think, Jack? Is that you saw it?
Yeah, Josh was getting further forward, but in his unnatural position. I don't think that helped him or the team. I mean, the team was the team. It's as good as we could put out. But yeah, a definite lift after half time with Hadji coming on, taking players on, Sims running at the defence. That made a massive difference. And it got the crowd going again. And obviously we equalised on the back of that. And then we seemed to just switch off again.
Yeah, can I say about that equaliser? How far out was that ball?
Oh, it looked out. It looked out.
It looked way out. I mean, I reckon half a yard, got to be.
I don't think it was that far out, but it looked out. I mean, both
It was almost in Holbrooks.
Both sets of players stopped, and then nothing happened, so they just carried on.
Yeah, go on, Vicky. Sorry.
I was going to say, Hull fan posted a video of it, sort of moaning about it, and it looked actually less out than that Plymouth one earlier in the season. So it's just really hard because of the camera angles, isn't it, to work it out? But it actually looked less out than that one that was obviously given. So we've had a bit of look at that end. It
was enough for everybody to sort of stop for that one.
Yeah.
There was a pause, wasn't there? And he just fair play to him, he carried on. And there's Bobby Thomas again, nipping up. I thought up to that point, Bobby Thomas having a great game, absolutely great game, considering he played the whole of the match at Wembley. And we've got to remember, we are, regardless of how United capitulate in that second half, they are still top six Premier League side, the biggest club in the world, however you look at it. And we matched them. Those lads went through the ringer, didn't they? On Sunday. And you saw it in the second half with Ben Sheaf, who after he'd been booked, he was chasing somebody, and you could see he went to grab him and went, "Oh no, second yellow," and just didn't even bother running back, did he? He left it to somebody else. I thought Ben was great until he tired, basically.
Yeah. Bobby Thomas looked like dead on his feet, but we had no one. There was no. I mean, he could have done with coming off, but there was just no option, was there? So it's no surprise that he made a couple of mistakes towards the end because, like, tired mind, tired body. It's just natural, isn't it?
Well, when Binks got injured, I said to Luke, I said, "Have we got anybody to come on? Who's on the bench now?" It was like it's like Kitchen's coming on. I thought, well, it's just, and then you realise our squad isn't that big. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good squad, a good 18 when all 18 are fit.
Yeah.
But the fact there was no talk. I mean, I'd love to have seen talk last night. I was really hoping he was going to be playing last night. But of course, and then
start Saturday.
yeah, well, hopefully, and then of course, their third goal, which was just, I'll let Joe talk about this one. Go on,
Oh,
Joe.
I don't want to talk about it. I forgot. I'm trying to forget about it. It just summed it up, didn't it? Really. And look, we can blame Collins, but ultimately he's being passed the ball back as well. So I think with the collective of the defence and the goalie's got to take responsibility for it, because I'm fed up of them constantly, excuse my language, fanning around in the box. There's too much of it, and we're paying for it a hell of a lot, and that's something I want to see us do less of. I get that sometimes you've got to pass it to the keeper, but when we equalised, I thought we were going to go on to win it. I thought it was going to be 3-4-2, and that was it. It just knocked the wind out of the sails, didn't it? Then, and it was just oh great, that was it. You knew we weren't going to come back from it. So,
I mean, it was a poor touch by Bobby, but it was a tired touch. You could see it.
Oh yeah.
And Collins though, you're thinking, come on, man, you're playing goal. The goal. I know he's a big bloke, that Ohio. He's about the size of the state of Ohio. He's massive, isn't he? But I just thought, you've got to go in. You've got to take him out. You've got to go in with. You've got to stop. And he didn't, did he? He sort of backed out. I was really surprised. Really surprised. And that just about did us in, didn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I couldn't see us. Although we had a couple of late chances, we never looked like we were going to get a third. We can't do that. We can't keep giving away goals. And the last two games have summed up our season perfectly.
Yeah.
All the great bits and all the bad bits, and somehow we just got to cut out the silly mistakes.
We need to work on our next season. We need to work on that home performances as well, don't we? And stop drawing and build it as a. It's a fortress now. The fans are. The fans are really there now, and we're loud and we're quite threatening. And we need to turn that into results as well, and go into next season and make people scared to come to the stadium. It's because our home form. You ain't going to win the league on a crap home form, are you? So we do need to be working on that next year.
And I think, on average, you need to win at least 28 matches to get promoted, and of course draw. Yeah, a few games as well, but we're nowhere near that yet, are we? And if you're going to do it, you have to do it at home. Which is the key. Although I think I heard somewhere this is the third time in a row now we've finished in the top half of the championship, which is we haven't been anywhere near that. Even when we were in it before, we were in the bottom half more times than the top half, weren't we? So it's getting there. It's getting there. We've got a good evening from Ralph Wiggins. Evening, Ralph. I hope we can sign Binks. So do I. But we never. Have we ever signed any loan players? Can anybody remember? I've actually ever signed one.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the scene from Monty Python Life of Brian now, where I'm going to go, apart from O'Hare, and there's not many, is there?
Technically, Joe Cole.
Oh, right.
Wasn't he on like emergency short-term loan, and then we signed him in January for 6 months, I think.
Well, I suppose technically Ben Sheep, because wasn't he? He was technically on loan with an agreement to buy.
Right, apart from O'Hare, Sheep.
One that stands out.
Oh, well, wait a minute. And Victor Gorkarez.
Apart from O'Hare, Sheaf and Victor Gyökeres, is there anybody else we've signed that we had on loan?
So you've got me
Come on, Vicky.
now.
I'm waiting for another one. So it is possible then, isn't it? And I remember at the tavern, were you there that night, Jack? Were you there, Vicky, when he was there, Binks? And he said he was looking to come back to England, basically. And I think it'd be a really good signing. He looked good on the ball last night. I was really happy with him.
Yeah.
So, Covandi, we definitely need a keeper in the summer. Through we have our second choice at best. I don't know where they're going to go for a keeper, because if we want a really good keeper, you're looking at a few million, aren't you? I think if you want like Premier League keeper.
Yeah.
I know some people mentioned the Rotherham guy.
Yeah, he's outstanding. He is.
Yeah. There's a few others, but they might let him go because they're getting relegated. Right, so we're going to go to adverts, and then I think Harry is in the background. I can see he had logged on at one stage. You've got Harry from Blackburn Rovers. Here he is. Yeah. Well, it's everybody listen to his accent. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, we'll do the ads, and we'll be back with Harry the Rover.
Sky Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans.
All right, well, welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV.
Do you want me to put a potato on that or not?
I don't know what's going on there. So, welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. Got myself, Claudio, got Jack from the Leamington and Warwick Supporters Club, and Joe Chamberlain, our wonderful marathon runner. I was half expecting you to be on a treadmill while you're doing the show. That'd be quite good, actually, wouldn't it?
I have done a little run tonight. I've done my first few miles tonight.
Oh,
so,
how many?
I just did a 5K tonight, so just to loosen the legs.
Yeah, she's gone for another 10K. This is the only person who's waiting for a major operation who's done now. This is 50K in the last 2.5 weeks. Yes, right. So we're going to add on to the stage, Harry. Now, evening, Harry.
Hello, guys. You all right?
Right, now we're going to play a little quiz here. You all have to try and guess where Harry comes from. Well, of course, you've got to talk first.
Yeah, I'm glad we got the accent chat out the way early doors, so you don't think that I'm a Coventry fan pretending to be a Blackburn fan. I'm glad we addressed that early on.
We're on a show earlier this week, and I said to the host, I says, that's definitely a West Midland accent, that is. Yeah, Harry's from Redditch. So the question is, how are you a Rovers fan then, first?
Well, it's an interesting old story. It's a story that I can't really remember that well. My family all came from Ireland originally. They move over. I think my granddad moves up north to Blackburn somewhere. Dad's born, starts following them in the 60s, I think it was 50s or 60s. I think he started supporting Rovers, and then just stuck on from there. Yeah, through the good times for him and the not so good times for me, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, because what are you, early 20s?
Yeah, 20. So just missed everything. Missed all
everything. Yeah, well, it's good for you actually. It's a bit like Jack. He's missed everything as well, haven't you, Jack? Although it's better now, obviously. But the Premier League years.
Not by the last sort of 8 years, 7-8 years, but before that,
it's not too bad. So, Harry, after last season, which was a strange season for Blackburn, because you'd win one, lose one, win one, lose one. You were sort of top 6, and I think you'd lost about 12 games at one stage, and it kind of dropped off, didn't it, towards the end? And obviously that Ben Wilson goal, which ultimately cost you a place, in the top 6 at the end of the season. And did you expect something better this season? Because you finished 8th and 7th, I think.
Well, Rovers seasons for the last few years have always been pretty similar. We start off well, set the world alight. We've seemed to be in the top 4 around Christmas time. February was famously a terrible month for us. I think we won about 1 game in February in about 5 or 6 years. And that was the start of our downfall. That season was interesting. I don't think we drew a game till January. You're right, it was win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And then we did just miss out on goal difference. It was a matter of moments here and there that could make the difference. Eventually, we didn't get. But we knew there were going to be a big overhaul. Losing Ben Barrett and Diaz, who scored all of our goals last season, a few of the key players. We knew it was going to be a big overhaul, but I certainly wasn't expecting things to be as poorly as they've gone this year round.
Did Diaz down tools towards the end of the season as well?
Well, I was never really the biggest fan of Brereton anyway. I always thought, yeah, he scores goals, but I thought as an overall footballer, I actually thought he was pretty terrible. I think his first touch is really poor.
Was it like a trampoline?
Yeah. Plays like he's wearing Timberland boots. But yeah, and then second half of the season, I think everyone knew he was out the door, and he just a lot of games he went missing, which was cause of that downfall, I think.
So where's the? Was the change of manager? Was that too late? And has it made any difference? Because he seemed to be just, well, to me, it seems like nothing's changed, even though John Eustace has come in.
Well, it was an interesting one. Everyone rated John Del Thomas at the time when he came in. Everyone thought last season did a great job, got us to close to playoffs, which we weren't really expecting to be in around there. We knew there was a big change after Mowbray left. But this season, he didn't get the budget he wanted to. He didn't get the chance to make the signings he wanted, and just threw his toys out the pram. He knew that the club's in the financial troubles he is, and he just, as soon as it started getting difficult for him, he threw his toys out the pram. A lot of players came and said they didn't enjoy working for him, so I think he had to go. And then Eustace came in, and the vibe around the club felt better, but the results didn't. Like you mentioned earlier, it's been inconsistent all the way through. You're talking, we put in a great couple of performances against Ipswich and then Southampton, and then go and get battered 5-0 against Bristol, and then go and win the next game away at Leeds United, and then go and get battered by Sheffield Wednesday. So we can't put a good run together. One week we look like we're really tactically nailed on. Eustace looks like he's all got it sorted out, and then the next week he looks like he hasn't got a clue. So it's it's an interesting one.
What worries me is this stat: since December the 12th, 2 wins in 13 at home. We're notorious for turning things around. So what is it with the home performances?
Yeah, well, that's been an interesting one since the start of the season. Our home atmosphere hasn't been great for a number of years, probably talking best part of a decade. There's been having problems with home attendances because of the problems with the ownership and whatnot. But yeah, we've not really. I think the start of the season when we were doing all right, most of our points were picked up on the road. What was a bit of a fortress for at times when we first went up, despite our low attendances, we were one of the best home forms in the league. Maybe not last season, but the season before. But this year it's been completely different. We've really struggled at home. And I do worry for the game on Saturday.
So what are your average attendances now at Blackburn?
I think you're talking 14,000. It's gone up slightly since last year, a couple hundred maybe, but it's nowhere near what it used to be.
Do you think this is down to having the Venkies as owners still? Or is it like a protest thing, do you think, or it's just basically the football?
Well, I think it initially was a Venkies protest. You can see the numbers fall from when we were in the Premier League. It's still owned by Walker Steel, and then we went down, and when the Venkies took us down, numbers just plummeted. And then those fans never came back. We'd have a brief bit of a success in League One. You'd start to see those numbers building up a little bit, but we've never had enough long-term sustained success for those fans to stick around that decided that they weren't interested anymore. So the attendances have been a struggle for Rovers.
It's interesting that your CEO is Steve Waggett, who used to be our CEO.
I think a lot of people aren't happy with the work he's doing, and people are pointing the finger at him for a lot of the problems going on in the club. I think he's got a difficult job. He's in a difficult situation. But yeah, there's a lot of people are not happy with his decision making, basically. Yeah,
well, it won't be as difficult as having to take your club to Northampton like he did. He was in charge at the time. But I think as soon as we came back, it wasn't long after that Dave Body came in, and I mean, he wasn't everybody's cup of tea at our place, but I think he did a really good job in the end. Had to negotiate a lot of real awkward situations with the council, with Sisu as well, and obviously Was and all the rest of it. So, yeah. But as for Steve Waggett, I know certain people weren't happy with him. We've got a bit of a spot the ball, Harry, which we do with our guests when they come on. So, where do you think the ball is? You got a chance to win a Sky Blue Fans TV mug.
I'm gonna go based off where number 15 is looking. I'm gonna go number 8.
Number 8. All right, Vicky's going to write that down.
Same as Joe.
Yeah.
Lucky number 8.
Right. Now, I think that Jack would like to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah, I've got a couple for you, just curiosity more than anything. You signed Dom Hyam off us 2 years ago, who at the time, yeah, exactly. Who at the time, I personally, and I think a lot of Cov fans thought was our best centre-back. We sold him to fund a pitch for a ground that we don't own, so everything was very sour from our end. How's that signing turned out for you guys, do you think?
Dom Hyam's a really interesting one. I think last season he came in and completely revitalised that defence. We were having a few defensive issues, and he was that leadership we needed when we lost Darragh Lenihan a few years ago. We didn't really have a leader in that centre of defence. He came in, really assured things up, and I think he may have won our Player of the Season in that first year. Was really one of our best players anyway. This season has just been a complete chalk and cheese from what it was at the start last season. I mean, the game at Bristol when we lost 5-0, he was at fault for at least 3 of them. But yeah, I mean, there's a good player in there. I think he's sapped for confidence, like a lot of them seem to be. But yeah, he's been nowhere near as good as we know he can be and as good as he was last year.
Okay, interesting, because he's the sort of player we really liked and admired, and he just got sold. We actually travelled to Hull on Saturday, and he didn't travel, and that was it. He signed for you an hour later when we were playing the game. So it was a weird one to us, and yeah, we really liked him at the time, but we've finished above you last season and this season, so I think we can say we've moved on okay. Another one is you signed Carl McFadzean off us. Now he's a hero in the eyes of Cov fans for the last sort of 3 or 4 seasons, a real captain, leader, and he was brilliant playing in a back 5. And I think he either got man of the match or was unbelievable for you for 2 games, but I've not really heard his name since. So how's that one doing as well?
Well, McFadden's an interesting one. I absolutely hated him before he joined Rovers. I think as most fans, he's one of those players that I feel like you love to have him at your club, hate to play against him. I always thought he was a nightmare. He proper giving it the beans. And he came in when we had a bit of a defensive crisis, and he was really good. He's he showed things. I mean, I was a bit skeptical. He's 37, 38, but he came in and did a really good job. But then we played one game at home to Plymouth, and we knew he was always capable of being exploited for a lack of pace. And in the first 5 minutes, we saw that their Morgan Whittaker and their other strikers, who've got a lot of pace going forward, were targeting McFadzean from the off. And saying if you get a ball over the top of him, he's not gonna catch him. So they exploited. They really picked on McFadzean from early on, and I would say he needs to come off because he's having an absolute howler out there, and eventually was at fault for the goal that we conceded in that game. And I thought something had to change there, and then I think it did. I think we went back to a 4 because he was the thing about him is that they said that he couldn't play in a 4, and I don't really think we've seen him play in a 4. We went back to a 4 and took him out and brought another midfielder in, and results seemed to improve momentarily. He did come back in we've had a bit of a defensive crisis. Scott Wharton's been in and out with an injury. McFadzean came back in against Leeds and was outstanding. And I don't really think, apart from that Plymouth game, I don't really think he's had a bad game for us. But you just know there is that potential in there for him to be exploited. And I think he could be although he hasn't been yet, there's clearly a potential that he could be a liability if they exploit his lack of pace.
I'm just going to get Joe's opinion on something. Joe's going to have to dash off because she's going to run another 26 miles.
No, thanks.
Harry, did you see Joe on Sky, BBC, ITV? She was all over the place at the weekend. Ran the marathon, then went to watch the semi-final.
So some weekend.
Yeah, weekend. Really different.
So quickly then, Joe, before you go dash off, team-wise, what do you think on Saturday? And what do you think we might do up there?
I'm just going to stay straight up. Let's go for who played in the second half against Hull. And look, we're quite decent away, aren't we? So I'm going to go 3-1. Sod it. I'm going to go 3-1. We're not going to keep a clean sheet, are we? Let's be honest. Yeah. So it's our turn to get 3. So let's do it.
I'll go with that. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Vicky, what do you think?
I'd say the same, really. I think same team from the second half. And yeah, 3-1. I like a 3-1. So that's my sort of common prediction. So I'll stick with that.
Oh, we'll add O'Hare obviously back in the team as well. So
Well, hopefully. I mean, after he's had a rest.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you think?
Who knows, to be honest. We could see O'Hare, Torp come back. We could see Latty and Binks not involved because of their injuries, or they could be fine. So your guess is as good as mine. I might have a go at doing the guess the team on Fan Hub on Saturday morning, but I do it by instinct more than anything, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Me personally, it's an interesting one. It's going to be a nervy game because Blackburn will be, I think, aren't Huddersfield playing Birmingham? Is that right?
Yeah.
So a point there, and I think you're pretty much safe anyway, aren't you? What's the worst result for Blackburn?
Well, I think if Birmingham win, they jump above us. So I think Huddersfield win, or a draw is ideal, but then Huddersfield win if one of those teams have to.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a tough game, actually. I imagine our players still a bit shell-shocked, I think, from Wembley. It's going to be tough. I'd like to think the ones that are rested, especially O'Hare, comes in and can make a difference. But I like sitting on the fence. I think we'll draw. I predicted 3-3 for the playoff and the semi-final.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Harry? How do you think you'll get on Saturday?
I tell you what, I'd be buzzing with a point, to say the least, given my confidence at the minute. I think our hope is just that Coventry are knackered, not just physically but mentally as well. I mean, you played 2 hours at the weekend, another hour and a half last night, and you know, losing that both games in the way, especially losing the cup final in the way that they did, that might just really put a dampener on things. They might really be demotivated by that. Well, that's what we're hoping anyway, because we're in a real rut at the minute. I'm really not confident in thinking we can win the game, and you guys don't seem to be keep a clean sheet, and we're much better at scoring than we are at keeping it out. So I'm going to say we win tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really tough game. So I'm going to stick my draw, I think. Joe, should we let you go?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks, Joe. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, it's just the 4 of us now. Let's go through some comments before we let you go, Harry, as well, just in case anybody wants to ask you something. Have you played? Obviously, you played Hull this season. How did you find them? Annoying.
Well, we played them dead early on at the start of the season, and I think we went 1-0 up late on, and then they scored 2 after we went down to 10 men, and then we played them right in the heart of our real bad run when we didn't win any games. So I think they were a decent side, but I wouldn't say they were anything special. I didn't really think that they were playoff or worthy of getting in the playoffs based on how they played against us. I know they had a great side, but I think it seemed like at the time that they just had a great bunch of individuals, not necessarily a great team.
Right. So, I mean, obviously further ahead, obviously you're hoping you're going to survive. I think you will. I mean, my prediction was 3 Yorkshire teams to go down at the start of the season. So, I'm kind of hoping Birmingham do stay up. It's only 10 minutes down the road from us and you, of course.
Yeah, and me as well.
Yeah, great away day for you, isn't it? That's a good one, that is. So going forward, what do you think? What do you think you can do as a club? Because I mean, how much money are you losing at the minute? Is it critical? Are you losing lots of money?
Yeah, well, I think a stat came out a while ago showing how much debt every team owes, and we're the most by some way. And I think we owe around 200 million or something like that. In a real bad state of affairs. The problems are worse off the pitch than they are on the pitch. And anyone who's seen us play on the pitch this season knows this shows how dire those problems really are. I don't know. I don't think the manager is the answer, but he has got us. He's signed a 2.5-year contract. I think he will be sticking around. We're going to have to find a Sam Smodics replacement. That's the hope. Smodics brings in a bit of money. We'll get that sell-on clause when Raya gets his permanent move to Arsenal. Maybe some of that money will be put back into the club if we're lucky. We're not. I don't know how much of a position we really are in to do that. But yeah, we're going to have to find someone to replace Smodics because no one else can score goals for us. So I think it's going to be a difficult. If we do stay up, fingers crossed, I think it's going to be a difficult period for us for the few years. And if we go down, I think it would be completely detrimental. I think we'd find ourselves in a similar situation to what Reading are in. So we really got to make sure that we stay up.
So is this a one-season wonder for Smodics? How long has he been at Blackburn now?
Well, this is his second year. He came in first year, and everyone really liked him. Everyone thought he worked really hard. He played a little bit deeper last year, but was really good on the press. Scored a few goals, not many. Probably got 6 or 7. But I think his highest goal score in return is about 15 goals in a season, and that was in League One. So this has kind of come out of nowhere. But he just looks like a player who's dead high on confidence when no one else seems to be. He's sort of dragged the club kicking and screaming to 3 points a few times this season, single-handedly. I mean, he's the only player who scores goals for us. So if he has an off game, then we lose, and that's just how it is at the minute. I don't think I've ever seen us be so reliant on one player.
Yeah, I mean, he plays as number 10 as well, doesn't he? He's not an out-and-out striker, is he, either? So it's the amount of goals he's scored is incredible, really, from there. How realistically, how much do you think? What are the Blackburn fans looking for if you do sell him?
Well, he's got 3 years left on his contract, so we don't have to sell. Although I think we will sell, and we shouldn't. If he wants to leave, we shouldn't get in his way because we need the money, and he's been a servant for us. We should let him go if he wants to go. The problem is he is 28, turning 29 next season, so he's not as young as I know. Players want to buy youth for the future, but you'd get 3 or 4 years out of him if that's a top Championship club or a Premier League club. So I think we should be looking for at least 10 million. And I think someone will pay that based on not just how clinical he has been in front of goal, but the rest of his game. He works so hard. The amount of times he comes back and does slide tackle, win the ball back for the side. I think he's an all-round great player, and I think any team would be lucky to have him.
Yeah, the guy at Peterborough, I was listening to his podcast this week, and he seems he mentioned 10 to 15 million. It's almost like he knows someone's going to put a bid in for him because he seems to be rubbing his hands because obviously they get a pay on. There must be a 10% or something going to Peterborough probably. So he's quite keen that you get 15 million for him at least. But yeah, it's no doubt he's the one we're going to look out for, isn't he, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be a perfect signing for us. I think with O'Hare probably leaving. I think there's no probably about it. I think he's probably gone. And Palmer being a very hit and miss player. You know, he shows flashes of brilliance and then flashes of being useless and flapping his hands and sitting on the floor and complaining. So he would be a perfect signing for us, I think, to nail on a number 10 position with Sims and Wright and Sakamoto, Efron as well. we've got a good attacking force. If we could get him over the line, I don't think we could afford 10 million for one player realistically. But if we want to go up, he would be my staple signing. Obviously, we will want a goalie, but in that attacking third, he would be my go-to man.
I mean, I can't even see. I don't know what you think, Victoria. I can't even see which clubs could afford that sort of money in the Championship unless it's one of the big boys who'd come down from the Premier League. But then Sheffield United have already got 2 points. Are they minus 2 points as soon as they start the season next season? So it's maybe Burnley. I don't know.
Well,
I can't see.
Burnley.
There's nobody in the
thing,
Championship.
Though, isn't it? Like a lot of clubs now, especially the Championship, are in quite a bit of a mess financially, aren't they? And in some ways, the fact that we've been like living on a shoestring for years and had no money and just everything, we're actually now in quite a good position because we haven't been gambling and spending like loads of wages on players that we can't afford because we just didn't have the money. And so it makes you think of the next couple of seasons. It might make us really competitive in that type of market because other clubs are going to have to be really careful about what they spend. So maybe our time is coming to be able to like nip in and get a couple of these players that we at the moment are getting outbid on all the time. I don't know.
So you haven't got a transfer embargo or anything like that, have you, at Blackburn?
No. I think the Venky's have been able to. I mean, Venky's get a lot of stick, and at the start they deserved a lot of stick. I think they were very poorly advised when they first came in, and that was the real problem they're down for. I don't think Venky's are the bad guys in this. I think the advisors were the bad guys. But they are still putting money into the club despite the situations they're in. So they are doing enough to keep us afloat. But whether they'll be able to do that if we're playing in League One next year, who knows?
Yeah,
I can't imagine Blackburn getting relegated. Actually, it's a shame because it's a good. That's the other question. Actually, last season we had bottom and top tier, didn't we? Did we have 7,000 there last season?
Yeah. If they think you're going to sell it, they'll give you that whole of the Darwin end. They do that a fair often for a lot of teams.
Can you remember that night match? Were we top and bottom last season?
I guess we were. I wasn't there personally. I guess we weren't because it was a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think it was the season before when we took a bigger gate because I remember being up the top that season.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We drew 2-2. I remember that.
Yeah. Because how many are you expecting on Saturday? Because you've lowered the price, haven't you, for this game, which we thought was great because it only cost me 15 quid. Some of the friends we're going with, it's costing them £2.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the idea because they know how big a game it is going to be. I think 3 points and we're safe, 1 point and we're lucky and we're safe. They want as many fans behind the team as possible. I assume Coventry will bring a big. They've always been well away supported. I think he'll bring a good number. We took around. It was about 20,000 for the game against Sheffield Wednesday, but about 7.5 of them were Wednesday fans. So I think you're talking somewhere between 18 odd thousand, I'd imagine, be there on Saturday.
Yeah, we've definitely sold our allocation.
Well, it was just over 4,000, wasn't it? We're taking just over 4,000. Yeah. I
mean, I personally hope you do stay up because on my wife's side of the family, they're Blackburn Rovers fans. So her dad was at Wembley in 1960 with her grandfather and grandmother, and I've got a photograph here, in the house of him and his brother in shorts. In fact, it looks like his brother's in school uniform going to the 1960 FA Cup final. It's a cracking photograph. Oh. And when he passed on, we got all the Blackburn Rovers stuff, all his programmes going back to the 1940s. So I got, and I've got to say, I know people get scammed on things like Facebook, but I had some honest people because I put it in a programme site on Facebook saying I've got a load of Blackburn stuff, 1940s. Somebody... Within seconds, I got so many people contact me saying, "Oh, I'll give you so much. I'll give you so much. I'll give you so much." I thought that's a quick response. That doesn't normally happen unless they're actually worth more than what they're offering, And this guy said, "What have you been offered so far?" I went, "Oh, he's offered me £100 for about 15 programmes," and he says, "That's £100 is what you get for one of those programmes." I went, right, okay, and it was right because some of them we sold and we got 165 quid for one programme from 1948. And it was falling apart. But it was a QPR fan who bought it because he's only got 3 missing from the war onwards, home and away. And apparently Blackburn Rovers programmes from the mid-40s really hard to get hold of. And about a few days later, I saw another one on eBay, V Grimsby, £365 it went for. And I thought, I've got that one. Then I realised I've got the league game, and his was a friendly. but yeah, it's great to think there are actually honest people on there who sort of. Well, this guy actually has got like the most ridiculous Blackburn Rovers collection. So he knew what he was talking about, and that was nice to know that there's some people out there who are just honest and don't want to see people get ripped off.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd like Blackburn to stay up purely because of my my brother-in-law. Although he does take the piss when he beats us.
When's the last time that happened, Claudio?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not that often. But I always say to Caroline, "Oh, I didn't get a text off your brother." But they live about 100 yards away. Well, 400 or 500 yards away from the Emirates. So his daughters are Arsenal fans. So he's done. Yeah, and they do actually go and watch the Arsenal.
Mm.
But anyway, Harry, it's been great having you on. We're going to let you go, and it was great hearing that West Midland accent.
Yeah, cheers for having me, guys.
And hopefully
take
we'll have
care.
you back on next season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of my best friends is lives in Redditch, and all her family are Man City fans, so she's a Man City fan. Like, this is going back to when Man City like pre-Money, and so she got the look of the draw there, didn't she? Like, Man City
Yeah.
family, not the Blackburn family.
You don't realise, because we're all the same. We all get engrossed in our own club, don't we? And you don't
Yeah.
really look outside of our club. Now we're doing okay. When we weren't doing okay, I used to think, why doesn't anybody know about our problems? I remember going to a friend of mine who's in the Leamington supporters group for Man City fans. I mean, he they've been going for years and years when they were really rubbish.
Yeah.
And I went to one of their meetings once because it was at the Nelson pub actually. we went there, and we're chatting away. I went, oh yeah, so what league Coventry in now? You Championship? I went, we're in League 2 at the minute. I wanted to scream. I thought, they don't have a clue, do they? Once you drop out of a league, people forget. And I do that sometimes now. I look at league tables and think, oh, I didn't realise they're not playing league football anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just
I
the
didn't
way it
realise
is.
I didn't realise that Blackburn was so like tight to still needing a couple of points. I thought they were sort of mid-table, I suppose. I knew they had done the best of seasons, but I didn't realise it was quite that tight. And yeah,
there's so many clubs. We're lucky. I mean, I think Doug King. This is a question I'm going to ask you both actually, because I think season tickets will be announced. Got to be announced next week.
yeah,
I thought. If they've got any sense, I'll put details in the programme, wouldn't they, for QPR or Ipswich, really?
yeah.
I'm expecting 10% rise, if I'm honest. I can't see mine. I mean, I think mine was 410. Does that sound about right? Early bird? I think Lucas was 370, mine was 410.
Yeah.
Because in the central bit, if you didn't get the premium package thing, it's 470, wasn't it? And they paid 500, didn't they, for the 5-year thing?
Yeah.
So I reckon mine's going to go up by 10%. I expect it to go up 40, 50 quid next season.
I don't. I expect it to be frozen on the basis that we've missed out on playoffs, and I've got this feeling that we might have less season ticket holders next year. And I don't really know why I'm feeling like that. I just am. And I think if you rise the price, you will get less season ticket holders. Oh, I know why. A lot of fixtures are being moved to not Saturday 3 o'clocks. We've had more TV fixtures than ever. And we've got, I think the EFL have got a TV package next season.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be
more games than ever are going to be moved again. So I think that's putting people off.
I think only 5 are going to kick off at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. 5 or 6
out of 23. That's abysmal.
And they're spread across Friday to Wednesday or something. It's a bizarre where they're doing it.
It's not good, and I think that will put a lot of people off. I've seen comments on Facebook. I'm already fed up this season. It's going to get worse. I'm not going to renew. And I think if you put the price up on top of that, people that are on the fence won't bother. So I will, because it personally doesn't bother me. I can make pretty much all the games whenever they are.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, family situations, kids and all sorts. And again, if you put the price up and someone's got 3 kids, they might not be able to afford having 4 season tickets every year.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? Because mine goes up by 50 quid. That's £1 a week, isn't it? Over the year. It's no big deal. But if you've got a family of 4, and there comes a point where you got the kids ticket turns into a young adult ticket, that's a big jump, isn't it?
And then you've got to cough up £2,500. I mean, I've got to cough up 500 quid as it was last year. Yeah. For me, that's not massively an issue. I'm not in financial trouble, and I can do it. But again, if you've got a wife, 2, 3 kids, well, we know a guy that sits near us he comes on his own, comes with 4 kids.
Yeah.
So he's got to spend £2,500 on season tickets just to get him in the games. And he seems to do it every year, and he whinges about it every year to us. But good luck to him.
So what do you reckon, Victoria?
Well, what might be a good strategy? But because I can imagine, I sort of agree with both of you to a degree. I can see them going up, but I can also see the merit of them not. And maybe the way that Doug might deal with that is that the adult ones go up like 5% or something, and he freezes the children's ones. So because they're like the fans of the future, aren't they? And also the situation where you've got like someone having to buy multiple season tickets. So to allow them to still be going, and then for like sort of inflation and everything, all of us adults sort of just pay a few pound more. I don't know. So I think that might be an angle. But mine's frozen because I did that £500 thing, and so we just pay that now, don't we, for 5 years or something? So
I mean, I didn't do that because I didn't want to, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I don't think it was much more for me. I'm sure that it wasn't much more. So it was a no-brainer really, because I think it was about £50 more or something.
I think it was 20 quid more for me, because I think we were season Singers Corner. I think it was $4.80 for a season ticket. For 20 quid.
There wasn't a lot, was the jacket? There wasn't a lot in it, was there? And so I just thought, well,
for a gamble, it's worth it.
Yeah. And I've only got to pay for myself the same as you. Like we're in a different situation. If you're only paying for one person, you can look at these things differently. So yeah.
I'll be surprised with that. I mean, he's put everything else up.
Yeah,
so, I was going to put this up, I'd have thought. And they keep saying we're in this together, which is fair enough. And obviously, you'd like to think if the fans spend more money, it's going to go in the right places. Which I didn't think it did a few years ago. I'm going to go through some comments now because I've got absolutely loads.
I keep it down the side of my screen. I'm reading half of them as they come through.
I know. So we're going to go quickly through these. And Joyner, we thought the way the whole players celebrated for the Singers' Corner instead of going to their own fans was disgrace. Those fans had travelled a long way on a cold midweek night. It was weird.
Point, isn't it? That's a good point, isn't it? Because not only will they be disrespectful to us, they would be disrespectful to their own fans because they didn't bother to actually go over to them and celebrate. It's appalling, really.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an instant booking. You're not supposed to go to the opposing fans. That's something. Yeah. Mr. Viewsky, good evening, Lee. I still feel exhausted after Sunday. That's to Lee Bickett. And Lee says, me too. Last night was knackering too. Sounds like you've had it was. I think the fans are mentally exhausted. Rob Nichols, good evening. Yeah. Sorry I'm late. I've just been on call with my Wolves mate moaning about VAR. Oh. Although I was calling for it last night, wasn't I?
Well, no, because our goal would have been chalked off.
I know. You don't want it, do you? You don't want it. I don't care what people say. Boys were tired physically and mentally last night as the game went on. 2 gifts and a pen, but that was outside the box. I mean, we lost the game because it's just mistakes. They didn't create, it's frustrating.
Disappointment Hall. I thought they were poor, really, considering where they are and what they're trying to do. I was surprised.
Christopher Baker, generally think the ref didn't know to give a goal kick or corner, so just said carry on. Oh yeah, when the ball went out. Because had you right, he did carry it over. Anyway, didn't matter, he lost anyway. Lee Beckett, that's interesting because when we played Hull the other season, wasn't that the game where the ball went over the line?
Yeah,
and it didn't
and it
trigger
didn't
off.
get given, and we
It
got
didn't get
robbed.
given, and it didn't trigger off his thing, did it?
Yeah,
So
I still think that didn't actually go over. I think it was millimeters from going over. I think that was a correct decision. But
well, where I was sitting in block 18, looking across 60 yards, it definitely went over.
okay. And I was in Singer's Corner, and it was at the far end, and I think it definitely went over.
Exactly. What else do you need? Lee Beckett need to cut out silly own goals. Yeah, maybe that should be this instead of Wings silly love songs. We should release silly own goals as bring back Pegu Affexad. Oh dear, Mr. View Sky. Yes, we just need something. It is frustrating. Yeah, I agree with Ralph here. We need a David Stockdale type goalkeeper commands the area, which is what we are missing. It's just modern day keeping though.
I still don't think we've had a brilliant keeper since Kieran Westwood.
Yeah.
Joe Murphy, maybe.
Frank Nouble, we signed him on loan. Does that count? I'm sure we've had a few more. Mickey Quinn, did he come on loan first, and did he? Maybe he did.
Oh, that rings a bell, actually.
Maybe he did. This is just blown out my theory completely. It is a bit like Life of Brian, isn't it? Trevor Merriman, you could see it. Wembley Binks loves us. You know what's interesting, because I've only recently seen footage of when we thought we'd scored we did score the winner, and from the other end of the pitch where everyone was behind the goal, and the way Kitchen and Thomas and Collins were celebrating with the fans.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, it's just what a moment that's been ruined. Still, I won't mention it again. So, Christopher Baker, weren't Sheaf and Vic loans? That's right, with a condition to buy. That's true. Here we go. Gavin Williams, who do you think will go this summer? Who wants to go first? Vicky.
Well, I think Kelly will be off.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance Godden will be off. I think Alan might even go. Actually, I'm not sure what his contract position is, but we might be looking. Who else? Some goalkeepers are going to have to go. I mean, we've got 3, and we need more.
Simon Moore's got the best job in the world.
There's no point in them all being there, is there?
Scott Carson.
You might as well come on the coach with us on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I don't understand it. Give the bloke a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter now, does it? I don't know. What do you think, John? I mean, obviously, I'll be amazed if O'Hare stays. That'd be number one.
Yeah, O'Hare's not staying. If we haven't managed to wrap him up on a contract by now, he won't sign one. I think from May the 1st, he can start signing with anyone in the country because his contract's up at the end of June. Or is it June 1st? I can't remember. But he can start looking elsewhere very soon. Moore will be off, his contract's up. I think out of Wilson and Collins is younger on a longer contract, so he's worth more to keep. So I think Wilson will be got rid of if we get a keeper in, which we should be looking to do. We're on about this Burrows from Peterborough, so he's a left back. So does that mean we have to get rid of either Bidwell or De Silva? Maybe.
He's got Player of the Year, hasn't he, or something?
Oh, I think
he looked good in the. I watched the final.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called these days, but Checkatrade. He looked good.
I can't think of his name now. The Peterborough owner, the Irish fella.
Yeah, Darren.
Dara, McConaughey or something like that, isn't it? Something like that. And he was saying that a lot of the Peterborough fans were slating him, and now he's playing the season. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Saying
Bidwell for us. No one liked him to start with, and he's been solid.
Yeah. So
left backs that'll be gone. Kelly's obviously out of contract. Alan, I think if we're moving forward, we need to move on from Alan. Obviously O'Hare's going, and I think we've passed Godden as well. So I think it'll be all of them out the door.
Yeah, it's interesting because this season obviously Victor scored a lot of goals for us last year, but we have missed those Hamer goals, haven't we? That he popped up with last year from midfield. I mean, I know O'Hare got a few when he first came back into the team, but kind of dried up now, hasn't it, with his goals? And also haven't been playing him.
Hamer got 9 goals last season. O'Hare's beat that this season.
Has he?
And interestingly, we're already 10 goals ahead in the league this season. We've already scored 10 goals more this season than us.
Yeah, but we've conceded 15 more.
Yeah, that's why I was looking, because someone was moaning about the defence on Facebook and about how we'd conceded more. So I was just having a little look at the stats to see what the situation was, and I saw that we'd scored more, which I was surprised about, because it didn't necessarily feel like that early on in the season. But we have knocked a fair few goals in.
And I think I presume the cup run is the reason as well, because of the fact we're banging in goals everywhere.
Yeah.
This was only in the league, 10 more in the league against.
Oh, really?
10 more in the league against the final amount of goals last season. So we could even get more than that by the end of the season. So yeah, just 10 more in the league.
I need to use your researcher.
We're eight up in the league, and we've got 3 games to play.
Yeah. So basically, it's the stop the cross, Vicky. Stop the crosses. It's simple.
Yeah.
Chris Baker. I feel really weird actually, because I'm so used to having Chris sat next to me, and he's not sat next to me. Bentley Hughes, Wolves number 2 at the moment. He's great at this level. Scott Carson from Man City.
Yeah, there you go. I said that a minute ago. He's definitely got the best job in the world, because he won a treble last year, and all he's got to do is play around with Haaland and co.
So King Arthur USA tennis coach. Ooh. Mark Robbins should be Premier League manager, in my honest opinion, United or Everton. Daft as it sounds, he's put himself in the shop window more on Saturday than whatever he's done in the last 7 years. Last Sunday, sorry. Because I'm still amazed that people, obviously not Liverpool, but I've not heard of this bloke, this slot. Apparently, this guy, they might get as manager of Liverpool. I'm thinking, what? Because he's a manager for Feyenoord, that's good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get the thinking behind these clubs.
Well, they were touting Gary O'Neill for it as well, weren't they? And I just thought it was an odd.
Wes, Joe should run to Blackburn. Lee Beckett, what about Ruddy from Blues, out of contract in the summer?
Yeah, and he's kept 10 clean sheets this season at his age. I know that might be more down to the defence, but it's not a bad shout.
I mean, with goalkeepers, it doesn't matter about the age, does it? You just want to. I think the older they get, the braver and dafter they are, to be honest. Look at Oggy. King Arthur USA tennis coach. United was so lucky Daesh was a clown not keeping him.
Oh, yeah.
Sharon Williams, congrats to the marathon, Joe. Do you think Agent Fads will help us out Saturday?
Are we going to give him a clap when he comes out?
I will.
I'd love him to just, when he comes out to warm up, just walk over to us. We'll give him a clap, and then we can move on. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Because I know at some point we'll sing the song, won't we?
Oh.
We will, though. Probably do it before the game.
Yeah.
Because he's done nothing wrong, has he? I mean, he was virtually told you can leave because I'm not going to play you anymore.
Oh yeah, no, bad feelings, no sour grapes or anything. It's just he's not our player, so I don't really want to cheer for him.
I wouldn't cheer for him during the game.
No,
absolutely not. Yeah, and just like if he does score, I'd sooner see him. I don't want him not to cheer. Just you're playing for Blackburn now. If you're going to score a goal, it wouldn't bother me that, because I know what happened if he did score. Some of our fans would get upset if he celebrated it, but he's playing for Blackburn now. So
I don't think he's the kind of guy that would celebrate, but I agree with you.
This is from Rob Nichols. I think Ben Wilson should play on Saturday, not because Collins made a couple of boo-boos, but because he's a goal-scoring prowess. Yeah, I love that stat with people saying he's got more goals than that idiot Anthony.
Yeah, that was my favourite stat. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. He's got pelters from everybody in the footballing world, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just embarrassing.
I can't believe how many Man United fans have tried to stick up for him, to be honest, because if he was our player and he'd done that, I just would be embarrassed. I wouldn't be sticking up for him. I'd be thinking, you're just embarrassing my club. And quite a lot have tried to stick up for him. I just think like he's everything that's wrong with your football club at the minute. He's got this overinflated ego, and he's done nothing for the money they've spent on him, and he thinks that's an acceptable way to conduct himself. And so, the ones that have been sticking up for him, I was really surprised.
Yeah, it's very poor. Chris Baker didn't realise Blackburn was so much trouble in terms of relegation. 2-2 prediction for me.
I reckon we'll do them 2-1.
Oh yeah, we should have asked, shouldn't we? We forgot to ask him about Ayari.
I was just thinking about him. I was just looking to see if he was still playing.
Absolutely forgot. That's one player I hope we don't sign after being on loan.
Well, no, I remember watching them in the cup. Who did they play in the cup that were good? And he looked like a completely like a world beater.
Newcastle.
That was it.
Yeah, but Blackburn did on the night, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
He's not scored for Rovers. He's appeared 9 times and he's not scored.
Haven't forgotten Blackburn knocking us out of the FA Cup in 1980, 1-0. Noel Brotherson scored for them. Only time I've ever been to Blackburn. I have to look that up. I think it was Simon Garner, but we'll have a look at that, Rob. I was there as well.
My time.
The round before, we were at Oldham and we beat them 1-0. Tommy Hutchinson scored. It's the coldest I've ever been at a football ground. I was so cold. I've never known a place like Oldham. It's dreadful.
Did you not come to Ipswich before Christmas?
No, but I know Wickham a few seasons ago was awful. That was -8 or something like that on the night. But this wasn't even minus. It was just cold. Horrible, horrible. Is that the coldest you've been at Ipswich then?
Yeah, it was like -1 or 2 at kickoff, and it obviously and it got colder because the sun sets at 3 o'clock in December, so it just got colder.
I think my coldest is Newcastle. Oh. I'm pretty sure it was a midweek game because it was dark, although it was also in the winter, so I suppose it could have been just late afternoon. But it was snowing, and they were doing work. So it was before they had that new stand because they were doing work, because we had to sit in some corner, and it wasn't properly covered, and it's snowing, and it was freezing, and it's up north, and we lost because we always used to lose up there, and it was that's the coldest I've ever been.
There's a fat bloke with his shirt off, wasn't there?
Yeah. Sorry, I've got about 50 layers on. I'm still cold, and he's there. He's just like, what?
Yeah. You don't want to see that on a cold day, do you? You've got a fan here. Oh, it's Chris again. He's popped up again. Agree with Jack. The new TV deal will make some people not want to renew.
Yeah. Especially fans that travel. So, again, we've got people in the Leamington and Warwick Sports Club that come from Bicester and Silverstone and Banbury Way and things like that. And they don't make all the midweek games.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's a long way. Sometimes it's just I can't because of commitments. So they might not have season tickets and they might not renew. So I kind of don't blame them either. It's not ideal.
I must remind everybody who's watching that if you can get your player of the season vote in as well, if you could email us at Sky Blue Fans TV. I think it's on the bottom there somewhere. Is it, Vicky? I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. I've got the wrong glasses on, but I'm sure it's there.
If you can email it in to us. We've also got the end of season drinks at the White Horse in Leamington on this time next week. I think Marcel's going to set up a live feed as well. Just a few drinks, have a bit of a laugh, bit of a chat. You don't need tickets, just turn up. That should be a bit of fun there. That'd be great. Trevor Merriman, it's the kids that will miss out on the new television deal. Yes, this is, I think, Chris Baker says, I think all TV games have to be announced 2 months in advance. I'm sure it may be even more than that, actually. I think that the idea is I thought they're going to tell you it's going to be on TV up to Christmas at least beforehand.
Well, that's better then, isn't it? Like, I mean, because we live local, it's not quite such a big drama if it's moved around. Like, generally, I could still make it, but I have missed games this season because I thought the game was going to be on the Saturday, and I've made plans on other days, like fitting around what I thought was the fixtures, and then they've moved it, and then that's just annoying. So I've got less of a from my perspective, it's less of a trouble if the game's moved for TV, if I know when that's going to be. I know that's not the same for everybody, but it'd be better if that'd be better if they are going to do that.
So this is Lee Beckett. I think these are the players you think are going to leave. Kelly, Godden, Alan Moore. I thought hopefully these aren't more loan players. I mean, I think yeah. I agree there, Lee. I think that's right. O'Hare gone already is what he's saying. Well done, Jamie. Gower 87. Dara McAntony. That's it. This is Brian Kavanagh. Keep up the great work. Loving the show. Thank you, Brian. Busy man doing the club coaches. Yes, Robbins will be a PM manager of us. That's from Gower 87.
For us, that'd be good.
No.
Yeah, he's allowed to go to the Premier League if it's with Coventry.
Nah.
And joiner, I'm entering the player of the season as I won a meal at the tavern last season.
Oh, well done.
Is that still on the cards? Is it? Has Miles announced that? Is that on Miles? Is it?
Yeah, a date with Miles.
Ralph Wiggins, you've got to hold them to keep them warm, Claudio. As long as I'm holding my own, I'm not holding anybody else's.
What about a fat shirtless bloke from Newcastle?
Hopefully this is right. It's a 6 month in advance for TV games. I'm sure they said it's a. I'm sure that's what they said. Rob Nichols. It was Noel Brotherton. I remember it very well. Ask Jim. All right. Back off, Tiger. I might have to Google it now. I haven't got my book with me. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, I've done the second, as I mentioned earlier, done the second episode with Jim Brown. We're hoping to get a special guest on next week. We've been quite good on the on that podcast. So last three games, obviously Blackburn. We'll have a show on Sunday where we can talk about what happened on Saturday, and look forward to Ipswich, which is going to be a humdinger if they still want to win and to get promoted. That's going to be. I'd imagine the atmosphere will be electric that night. It would be good.
That's the sort of game that will spoil their party. We'll go and lose to Blackburn on Saturday, and then we'll beat Ipswich.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's
That's
what we're like. We've been like that all season, haven't we? I suppose we should do the spot the ball. Yes. So here we go then. There it is. Obviously, Anthony's not in the picture because he was nowhere near the ball all game, was he? When he came on. Oh dear. It's like a dream, wasn't it? We were there. So the answer is, are you ready for this? Number three. Has anybody got number three?
Well, Rob Nichols put that he thought it was between a 13 and 3, so he was making up his own number. So it's whether or not you think that's an acceptable answer.
We can see there's a ball there
between 13 and 3.
Yes. Well, it was number 3. Look, Rob Nichols will come back with brothers to this. Are you convinced, Rob? Can you Google it quickly? Can you just Google who scored 1980? I haven't got my book up anywhere near me to have a look. Victoria's doing it. FA Cup. Coventry v Blackburn. Somebody Google it quick before we go.
Cov v Blackburn. What year?
1980.
1980.
Is at Ewood Park. It was freezing cold as well, if you remember, Rob. It was cold.
So Blackburn won 1-0.
Who scored? Wait.
I didn't. I can't find that bit.
Oh no. Surely.
It's not even telling you who the starting lineup were for Blackburn. That's how long ago it was.
While you're looking, I'll read out some more comments. Martin Cadden says a draw Saturday. I think it will be.
Jim Blythe was in goal, I can tell you that.
Yeah, but who scored, Vicky? That's what we want to know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you take that for granted that these days you'd find that information would be on the internet. Obviously, no one's bothered to store that from back in the 80s. It's not even telling you who the Blackburn team were.
Oh, I can't find that either. I can find the Cov team. That's about it.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Talk amongst
That's
yourselves
also
while
point-
we do it.
John Eustace was there last night, by the way. I meant to say he came to do a recce.
Oh no, he's not going to be the new manager, is he? I was half expecting Hamer to be there, but they're playing Man United, weren't they?
Yeah.
So, Blackburn v Coventry City, head to head. So it takes ages now to load up. Bear with us, people.
This is all because
Oh, I keep finding the league game that apparently Cov won 1-0.
Oh yeah.
Andy Crawford, goal from Andy Crawford, 29th minute.
Andy Crawford.
Yeah, it says here the Sky Blues drew Blackburn Rovers in the 4th round, again away, at Ewood Park later in a lone 29th minute goal from Rovers' Andy Crawford knocked CCFC out of the competition.
Yeah, the chances are Noel Brotherston would have crossed it because he was like a ginger-haired winger. Didn't have very much hair. He looked 50 and he was only probably about 22 or something. I think Howard Kendall was playing for Blackburn that day as well. Duncan McKenzie. I think Howard Kendall was their player manager at the time. So, well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. It's and watching. It's been it's been a really good show. We've had Joe on, our marathon runner. Harry, who came in from Redditch, who's the Rovers fan because his parents are Rovers fans. Before he gets criticised, the poor lad. Thank you, Jack, for coming in as well. This is good to see you.
Great to be here.
And I'll see you Saturday. Yes, you will see me Saturday.
There's still space on our bus if anyone's interested. I'm sure you can either contact Claudio or Sky Blue Fans TV or anyone, any of our platforms, Leamington and Warwick Supporters Club. We'll sort you out with travel if anyone needs it.
Brilliant. And Victoria, thanks for making it in the end after struggling to get out the is it Walsgrave car park you're struggling to get out of?
Yeah, Walsgrave Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, she said I can't get off site, and I went just pull the plug out, not thinking she was on some sort of website, not as in the hospital site.
Oh yeah. I was thinking that's not going to work.
Right. So thank you for watching. We'll be back on Sunday, hopefully talking about a nice little victory and how we still might have a chance because all the other teams have cocked up. So play up Sky Blues.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.